Hey, this is Mitch from Castro Valley Fitness. How you all doing? Hopefully you had a nice, having a nice week so far. Today I want to do a little different kind of video. I actually want to talk about a specific exercise, which I haven't done a lot of lately. It's an exercise that kind of frustrates and confuses people, and it is the bench press. Specifically the barbell bench press. It's confusing and it's frustrating because there's a lot of moving parts, more than what you initially would seem if you see someone doing it. It's also kind of frustrating because it is really hard to get better at the bench press, okay? I've trained a lot of people also watched a lot of people training the bench press, from kind of just regular average people to full-on power lifters. And the conclusion that I've come after watching a lot of people try to get better at the bench is, unless you're a very naturally talented bench presser, which very few people are, it is really, really hard and frustrating to get better at it. But there are some things that we can do that I can show you technique-wise that I think will help you to get better at it, and things that don't necessarily, if you're just watching someone or haven't been coached on this, things that wouldn't necessarily come into mind. So I'm going to take you over to the bench and we'll talk about them. Okay, so there's three things we're going to go over. Now, if you just kind of hop on the bench and you're not really thinking about it, it looks pretty easy. You know, most people, the first time they're benching, they'll just lie down, grab the bar, and just kind of start going, you know? There's some things that you can do that will really help you. So we're gonna go over them one by one. All these things are really important as you are setting up. That's another thing that people don't kind of get with the bench, is you need to take some time to set up when you're doing the bench press, to get yourself tight in certain spots. We're going to talk about that. So what you're going to do, what I have people do, is lie on the bench first thing. Okay, we're going to grab the bar. Make sure you grab the bar evenly. When we grab the bar, we're not just going to grab it absent-mindedly. I want to grab it and I want to try to almost pull the bar apart. So when I say that, I mean I'm going to grab it and try to pull this way. I'm giving some tension into my hands and pulling the bar. And what this is going to do is it's going to tighten up your lats right here. Okay? So that's number one. We want to get the lats nice and tight. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you stability with the bar. So if you bench and you notice that every time you bring the bar down, it's hitting a different spot, that means you're not very tight in your lats, okay? And that's going to make it a lot harder to bench press. So that's number one. Pull the bar apart, okay? Number two for the setup is we want to make sure that our shoulder blades are behind us and tucked back, okay? Pulling the bar apart is going to help with that, but we also want to emphasize that point of it too. So when you're lying down, what I'm trying to do is I'm grab the bar, I pull it apart, and I'm also trying to pull my shoulder blades back and down and kind of almost pinch them and push them into the bench, okay? So that's number two. This, again, when you see someone who's very flat here, notice I'm flat as opposed to this position here, then you know that they're not very tight in that upper back. So what this is going to do is allow that bar to hit the same spot every time you bring it down. The other thing that you can notice is you notice how my elbows are at a slight downward angle. My elbows are not flared out here. They're pointed slightly down, which again, that tension is going to do. When I grab that bar, notice how my elbows kind of rotate down. I'm not trying to get them in here, but just a little down. We don't want them flared out that way, okay? And then the third thing we're going to be talking about is your feet, okay? So also what a lot of people will do is they just kind of get their feet just kind of hanging out. We want to dig our feet into the ground. I want to think about pushing my upper back into the bench with my feet. That's going to help reinforce that kind of shoulder position where I'm trying to pinch the bench, and I'm trying to push my upper back into the bench, not up. I'm not trying to push up that way. I'm trying to push down into the bench with my feet. That's, again, going to give me a lot more stability. Sometimes when people start to get a little tired or the weight starts to get heavy, you'll start to see a lot of movement in their feet. I've seen people actually start to do this as they're pressing. So what's happening there, the reason people are doing that is there's a lot of tension built up when you are bringing that bar down and you are tight the way you should be. obviously you're not going to lose, the body's not going to, it's looking for a way to release the tension, and it's not going to do that with this bar, this heavy bar in your hand. So it's going to do that because the feet aren't attached to anything. We want to use that tension and push it into the bar, and you do that by pushing your feet into the ground, okay? So these are 3 kind of basic tips that I think will really help, and a lot of people kind of miss on the bench. So here, the keys to the bench again, try not to get frustrated. It is a frustrating lift. Everyone has that. You are not alone in that. And then use these 3 cues and try to build on that with yourself. And I think that'll help you with your bench. If you have any questions, let me know. This is Mitch at Castro Valley Fitness signing off. Have a great day.